Welcome to Search the Scriptures. We are on study number 6 today, and study number 6 covers the book of Numbers, chapter number 9, verse 15 through chapter 10 and verse number 36. And we are going to attempt to answer 3 different sets of questions today in this study. First question is, Israel were made very sure of God's guidance without the actual symbols of cloud and fire. Can we claim the same assurance? And why the repetition of the words at the Lord's command? And then secondly, notice the correspondences and the differences between chapter 10 verses 14 through 28 and chapter 2 verses 3 through 31. And what is there in chapter 10 to show that although God led and protected the children of Israel, He did not expect them to be utterly passive and to do nothing for themselves. And then finally, what was the significance of the trumpets? Well, let's look at Numbers chapter 9, beginning with verse 15 through chapter 10 and verse 36. Numbers 9:15. On the day the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony, was set up, the cloud covered it. From evening till morning, the cloud above the tabernacle looked like fire. That's how it continued to be. The cloud covered it, and at night it looked like fire. Whenever the cloud lifted from above the tent, the Israelites set out. Wherever the cloud settled, the Israelites encamped. And at the Lord's command, the Israelites set out, and at His command they encamped. As long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle, they remained in the camp. When the cloud remained over the tabernacle a long time, the Israelites obeyed the Lord's order, and they did not set out. Sometimes the cloud was over the tabernacle only a few days. At the Lord's command, they would encamp, and then at His command, they would set out. Sometimes the cloud stayed only from evening till morning, and when it lifted in the morning, they set out, whether by day or by night. Whenever the cloud was lifted, they set out. Whether the cloud stayed over the tabernacle for 2 days, or a month, or a year, the Israelites would remain in camp and not set out. But when it lifted, they would set out. At the Lord's command, they encamped, and at the Lord's command, they set out. They obeyed the Lord's order in accordance with His command through Moses. Now Numbers chapter number 10, verse 1. The Lord said to Moses, make 2 trumpets of hammered silver, and use them for calling the community together, and for having the camp set out. When both are sounded, the whole community is to assemble before you at the entrance to the tent of meeting. If only one is sounded, the leaders, the heads of the clan of Israel, are to assemble before you. When a trumpet blast is sounded, the tribes camping on the east are to set out. At the sounding of a second blast, the camps on the south are to set out. The blast will be the signal for setting out. To gather the assembly, blow the trumpets, but not with the same signal. The sons of Aaron the priests are to blow the trumpets. This is to be a lasting ordinance for you and the generations to come. When you go into battle in your own land against an enemy who is oppressing you, sound a blast on the trumpets. Then you will be remembered by the Lord your God and rescued from your enemies. Also at your times of rejoicing, your appointed feasts and new moon festivals, you are to sound the trumpets over your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, and they will be a memorial for you before your God. I am the Lord your God. On the 20th day of the 2nd month of the 2nd year, the cloud lifted from above the tabernacle of the testimony. Then the Israelites set out from the desert of Sinai and traveled from place to place until the cloud came to rest in the desert of Paran. They set out this first time at the Lord's command through Moses. The divisions of the camp of Judah went first under their standard. Nahshon, son of Abinadab, was in command. Nethanel, son of Zuar, was over the division of the tribe of Issachar, and Eliab, the son of Helon, was over the division of the tribe of Zebulun. And the tabernacle was taken down. The Gershonites and the Merarites who carried it set out. The division of the camp of Reuben went next under their standard. Elazar, son of Shedeur, was in command. Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai, was over the division of the tribe of Simeon, and Eliasaph, son of Deuel, was over the division of the tribe of Gad. Then the Kohathites set out, carrying the holy things. The tabernacle was to be set up before they arrived. The divisions of the camp of Ephraim went next under their standard. Elishama, son of Ammihud, was in command. Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, was over the division of the tribe of Manasseh, and Abidan, son of Gideoni, was over the division of the tribe of Benjamin. And finally, as the rear guard for all the units, the division of the camp of Dan set out under their standard. Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, was in command, and Ajiel, son of Ochran, was over the division of the tribe of Asher, and Ahira, son of Enan, was over the division of the tribe of Naphtali. This was the order of the march for the Israelite divisions as they set out. Now Moses said to Hobab, son of Reuel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, we are setting out for the place about which the Lord said, I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised good things to Israel. He answered, No, I will not go. I am going back to my own land and my own people. But Moses said, Please do not leave us. You know where we should camp in the desert, and you can be our eyes. If you come with us, we will share with you whatever good things the Lord gives us. So they set out from the mountain of the Lord and traveled for 3 days, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them during those 3 days to find them a place to rest. The cloud of the Lord was over them by day when they set out from the camp, and whenever the ark set out, Moses said, Rise up, O Lord, may your enemies be scattered, may your foes flee before you. Whenever it came to rest, he said, Return, O Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel. First question. Israel was made very sure of God's guidance. Without the actual symbols of cloud and fire, can we claim that same assurance? And why the repetition of the words at the Lord's command? Well, John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The Bible makes clear to us that the Lord knows the way of the righteous, and that the footsteps of the righteous are ordered or directed by the Lord. The cloud and the fire were symbols of that direction of the Holy Spirit. That same Holy Spirit dwells within the tabernacle of the believer and serves as our ever-present guide if we only would listen to his leading. The repetition of the phrase at the Lord's command here in the opening section of this chapter is a clear indication that Israel was to make no move into the future without seeking the direction of the Lord. I don't even want to think about all of the moves that I have made in my life without waiting upon his direction. Had I waited, I would have undoubtedly saved myself a great deal of headache, and I'm sure the same is probably true for you as well. Second question, notice the correspondences and differences between chapter 10, 14 through 28, and chapter 2, 3 through 31. And what is there in chapter 10 to show that although God led and protected the children of Israel, he didn't expect them to be utterly passive and do nothing for themselves? Well, the order of the march when they broke camp in chapter 10 is essentially the same as that in chapter 2, with the addition of the details of the marching orders for the descendants of the 3 sons of Levi. The Gershonites, the Merarites were to follow Judah, and the Kohathites were to follow the tribe of Reuben. Remember, these descendants of the 3 sons of Levi were in charge of the tabernacle itself. The Kohathites got there later onto the scene after the tabernacle would have already been set up by those carrying the poles and those carrying the curtains. It's interesting that Moses asked for his brother-in-law Hobab to accompany them on the journey. It's said really in order to help direct them to the best places to camp. This almost seems a little contrary to allowing the cloud to be their guide. So this seems to be some indication of why God does want us to follow his leading. He still does want us to be active participants. And the final question, what was the significance of the trumpets? Well, these silver trumpets were used as a means to direct the movement of this vast nation as they came together for important meetings or set out for a new destination or went to war. They were the best way to get the word out quickly and the best way to get the word out with clarity. I hope you've enjoyed this study in the book of Numbers. Hope you're having a great day. Hope your day gets even better. Look forward to visiting with you next time as we continue in this study in the book of Numbers. God bless.